Hello Reformers and welcome back to a world of ice and fire. Now when we left off we actually took every single fief that the Norvoshi had under their control. Well, that wasn't too difficult because they only had two to begin with and we were able to utilize our spies effectively enough to make it very easy indeed. However, we did partake in a very large field battle with them and, well, they actually proved to be a little bit surprising at times. I won't get into what actually happened, but yes, you know exactly what if you've seen that episode. Anyway, here we have it. We have a defense. Oh yes, we have a siege defense right here, and we are going to attempt our very best to make sure that Norvos does not get taken. As you can see, I'm actually still a little bit injured, because it has literally not even been that long since Norvos has been taken, and I did not get enough time to heal up and to regenerate my forces. So I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to go, but what I do know is that I'm going to try and get to the walls. Now, this is the cool thing about doing siege defenses. We actually do get to see the siege layout, and that was the main reason why I was kind of like, oh well, maybe we're going to get to see King's Landing at some point. I think it would be really cool if we could. I don't know whether that's really going to happen, however, because, well, obvious reasons, because King's Landing is kind of out of reach of most of the Norvoshi and most of the Essos factions in general. And I think it's going to be basically, well, I wouldn't say impossible, but I would say it's very unlikely that King's Landing is going to be under siege from anyone but the Westerlands or any other enemies that decide to crop their heads up. Now, that's obviously a bit of an issue as well, because Westerlands, they're basically going to be dying pretty soon. They're basically done. You know, there's not much that they can do. They are being murdered from every single angle on Westeros, and I was not anticipating that. I was not anticipating that at all. I actually thought that we would... Oh dear. There seems to be... Oh dear. Well, this is indeed a problem. This is indeed a very big problem. I will unleash my fearsome cry, and I will attempt to maneuver myself. Ooh, we actually did it. Can I jump off? I'm dead. Yep, I'm dead. Ah, that is awful. That is absolutely awful. I did not know that there was an invisible wall up there. That is awful, isn't it? Absolutely terrible. Okay, so, yes. Anyway, the point is that I did not realize that the Westerlands were going to be so incredibly, well, to be frank, weak. I didn't think they were going to be that weak. I thought they were going to put up a pretty big fight against Dawn and House Targaryen and things like that, but they just came out of nowhere and gave them the, the good old 1-2 sucker punch kind of thing, and it seems to have caught the Westerlands by surprise, and they are actually not being able to do much to counterattack and to retaliate. So basically it is all down to the Westerlands coming back somehow and attempting to raid or indeed siege King's Landing, which is never going to happen. I actually thought it was going to happen, as I said, thought it was going to happen beforehand, but at this point I don't think so. I don't think so somehow. It's just that they're just up against way too much, and the AI is not that smart as to target a fief that is a little bit easier to take. I mean, we don't have that many units in there. We have about 150 or so, so it's not really that well defended. But you can see here that we're actually doing a pretty reasonable job in defending against the enemy right here. I really wish I was still alive, but as I said, didn't realize there was an invisible wall right there, because I thought that I'd have an escape route, but I effectively just trapped myself. Alright, so I've made my way to the walls once again. Now, you may be wondering, why am I alive? Well, I actually, got alive again by, just retreating and coming back in, because I actually wanted to participate in this siege. I think it could be really fun to fight throughout the streets here. I have to be a bit careful though, because there are times when the enemy will just absolutely rush you in a really aggressive manner, and I do have to be a bit careful about watching out for that particular scenario, like it is happening right now. As you can see, they're being overrun in our first initial defense, and amusingly enough, we have Dongo's over there, and he's doing a fantastic job. As you can see, he is basically murdering every single... Well, he's not even murdering them, really. He's just knocking them unconscious, but you know what I mean. He's basically taking out a whole bunch of enemy units and doing a fantastic job. So yeah, you can see here we've already eliminated about 50 of the enemy's units, and we have another, I think, 370 to go. But as you've seen, Novoshi units are not exactly strong, and well, we have a very good defense right here. I mean, most of my units, as you can see, are going to be absolutely fine with dealing with whatever comes their way. Oh, did you see that? Oh my, that has gotta hurt. I'm sure he actually didn't even know. He probably didn't even know. He probably just died just instantly. Wow, that was pretty insane. Anyway, as I say, this is going to be pretty simple for us to deal with here. Obviously, Dongo is still keeping them all the way over there. As you can see, I'm actually exhausted right now, so I'm probably going to take a bit of a rest in the corner over here and just allow my units to do their thing. Oh, you know what? I just had to cut back for this. I had to show and indeed highlight Dongo's insane survivability. Have you seen him right here? Look at this. Now you're all right. You're all right, Dongo. Very good. Very, very nice work right there. I am astonished. Speechless, even. Absolutely speechless. As you can see, he has literally just killed this entire attack wave by himself. He didn't have any help. He didn't have any help whatsoever. It seems like the enemy are wanting to come through this door here. Let me help him out, actually. Let me help him out a little bit, because I kind of want them to come in here and say hi. Because, whoa, that's a lot. Okay. Maybe I should not have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. But you know what? It's fun. It is super amounts of fun to get this kind of situation on our hands. And even if they do kind of come close, as you can see right there, they did. I was able to use my fearsome cry. You know, this is kind of when I wish I had a little bit of athletic skill. I actually don't. I think I have about 3 or 4 athletics, but because I'm wearing such heavy armor, it is really not helping me in any way. So that's kind of a shame. But I am now back with my unit, and we will be able to do quite a bit of beheading and dismembering and all kinds of wonderful slaughter of the opponent. And well, it's not going to go very well for them. It's not going to go very well. Now, yeah, I actually did sustain another injury. I was actually hit on my way to the battlements initially, and well, I sustained an injury that gives me -1 agility. Yes, -1 agility. So I'm going to go and speak to Silva after this, and she will most likely be able to heal that up without any problems. What's that guy? A bearded bishop. A bearded bishop. Okay, apparently those guys are pretty good. They were able to take out one of the Unsullied, or veteran Unsullied, so not bad. But yeah, as you can see, we still have about another 200 enemies remaining. So I guess I'm just gonna, once again, chill out here for a little bit, and if the enemies decide to come a little bit too close to me, I will cut them down. Alright, so after the fight, I was able to speak to Silva and get my agility restored, or at least that will happen in about 4 days. Anyway, we did manage to take the fellow prisoner that attacked us, and we are going to send him to the wall. Now, I have seen a couple of comments that were questioning what actually happens to these lords that get sent to the wall. Well, as you can see from the little text option here, basically it just means that they're going to be a vassal of the Night's Watch. And I know, technically, thematically, we as a wildling / free folk member are supposed to be mortal enemies of the Night's Watch. And while I am not a big fan of the Night's Watch thematically, you know, in character, you know, it is kind of necessary for us to shore up the Night's Watch as much as possible before the White Walkers invade, because if they invade and we have no one there to basically defend, they are going to just get slaughtered, and the White Walkers are going to come in and they are going to start taking... Well, I would assume they can capture. I actually don't know whether they can capture things, but we're going to find that out, I suppose, in due time. Alright, there you go. 130 renown from that. That is pretty fantastic, and yeah, we're pretty happy with that. Very nice indeed. Okay, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing how much these bearded bishops sell for, by the way, because I think that's going to be pretty fun to find out. Anyway, there is actually a vassal over here who's raiding one of our villages. He only has 98. Technically, I could do battle with him and murder him mercilessly without any problems whatsoever, but he is so fast. As you can see, he's actually moving a little bit too fast for my liking, so it seems like I won't be able to do that. However, it seems like Sarsfield, which is... where is that? There it is. Has been... has been besieged by Dawn, and they are going to be taking something else by the looks of things from the Westerlands. I am actually very impressed with Dawn, to be honest. Dawn has just swooped in and completely just taken everyone by surprise, basically. So yeah, pretty impressive work by them. And oh yes, what did I want to do? I wanted to find a ransom broker, didn't I? So let's go into the inn and actually see if there is one. If there isn't one, then we will just head on to the next town. Yep, seems like... oh wait, is this guy? Oh no, never mind. Okay, yeah, that I don't exactly know what that guy does, but I know that sometimes he's going to reduce your relation or your reputation or something like that, so I generally don't tend to bother with him at the moment, so that's primarily the reason. Anyway, what do we have now? Well, the only faction remaining is Cohor, and I suppose we're going to try and see what we can do about taking it. However, that guy is kind of still being a bit annoying, so I think I'm going to just be a little bit around here just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Alright, so I've actually found a ransom broker so that we can actually see how much these prisoners are going to sell for. Now, I'm actually not going to sell them all together just yet because... look at that. Alright, so each bearded bishop is not exactly expensive to sell, but 216 per one, and we have 228 of them, is pretty nice. And bearded priests are not as good, as you can see. However, exiled knights, as you... wow. Oh, that's crazy. 541 for one of those. That is pretty insane. Alright, so let's sell all of them at once. 58,000. Nice. Alright, so on my way down here, this is... I believe we're in Valon Thares right now. Anyway, on my way down here, I sent in 4 spies, 1 to each location in Cohor, and we are hopefully going to be able to get at least 3 out of the 4 working really, really well, and hopefully we'll be able to get in there. Alright, so as you can see from the messages there, we have been successful in poisoning the well in this castle, and this castle over there, and we have done the food stocks in Cohor. Now, I thought I might do the food stocks first, just literally because I thought that might make a bit more sense considering, well, there are more people to be affected by the lack of food, perhaps. So that might make a bit more sense there. But anyway, we are now going to try... oh no, what is this? Oh dear. Okay, well, this might actually be an event that I haven't actually done before, so this might be interesting. Anyway, my lord, we have captured some men responsible for attacking one of your messengers who is now lying seriously injured in bed. This doesn't show us in a good light. The messenger was under your protection. The attacker, however, does have an interesting story. His wish was to tell it to you before his execution. Alright, so he's now speaking. My lord, I would never have thought of attacking your messenger, but that man wished to sleep with my young daughter for the night. Of course, this offer was refused. We are not barbarians. However, he never accepted the answer, entered my house with his three friends, and robbed my dear daughter, laughing that my king will never believe a commoner's word. I tried what I could, and though I regret that I seriously injured him while he was under your personal protection, a father must protect his only child. I think I have done this event before. Alright, so let's see... The messenger is important, but I will be reasonable with you. It is only you who will hang. Oh, that's a harsh thing. While the messenger is important, I would have done the same. Yeah, okay. While the messenger is important, I would have done the same. You can go. Oh, we gain some reputation, but we lose 2 morale. I think that's actually a pretty decent outcome, to be honest. Alright, so let's have a look and see what's going on here. The king himself, oh dear. The king himself is right there. I actually hope that they don't utilize Unsullied in their armies. If they do, we might be having some problems, but let's have a look. Alright, so let's see whether they are... Ooh, he was discovered just as he was about to do it as well. Alright, that was kind of unlucky, but Cohort is basically done, so we can pretty much take that without any problems, I think. Oh, what? Still 107? Are you serious? Oh, that's not very good. Okay, well, let's see if we can get some more action going on here. This is going to be difficult. Okay, he actually did it. Okay, fantastic. So now there's only one. Let's go in here, attack the king himself. Alright, then we can leave. And we will obviously have House Targaryen helping us maybe, but let's head in here. And we will take it straight off. Alright, surrender, yes, you will be ransomed, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is pretty good. Okay, so now, the reason why this is also really good is because we can actually now take Unsullied, and we can sell the Unsullied. I actually have no idea how much they're going to sell for, but who knows? Maybe it's going to be a lot, maybe it's not going to be a lot, but it's going to be really fun to find out, that's for sure, because those guys are amazing. They are really good. Alright, so there's actually a lot of units here that I might potentially be able to take. Now, the one thing that I am currently having a bit of a problem with is the fact that we are now with below average morale. So I am going to either need to get into a fight very, very quickly, or I will have to do this to increase my morale in the short term. Then I actually have no idea. So we're going to have to find out what happens after that. Who do I want to give this to? I actually want to give this to, well, no one, to be honest, but I'm going to give this to Lord Bronn, I suppose, because he's the only one that has a little bit lower in his relation. Now, the one problem, again, another problem, is the fact that we now have even less morale than we had before. Well, that's not going to help us that much, is it? No, that's not going to help us at all. Alright, so I guess what I'm going to have to do is wait here for some time, and maybe, that's the thing. They are now attempting to take stuff, which is absolutely fine. They can do that, you know, that's up to them if they want to. I'm actually just going to wait here for some time and try and get the morale from resting. Now, of course, all my spies are now going to start to get discovered, because that's what happens with, you know, spies eventually, especially considering they are hostile. And I'm just thankful that I was able to take Cohort here, because I'm hopeful that the other fiefs in Cohort's territory do not have any Unsullied there. Okay, so yeah, most of them have been discovered, but I think this one was probably the weakest, I think. So let's go over here and actually see whether that was indeed the case. Yeah, it was. Maybe we will be able to force them to surrender. We might be able to. Yep, we are going to be able to. Okay, pretty fantastic. That is literally just because we have such a large army right now. If there were more vassals in here, there would have been no chance. No chance whatsoever. So there's also that to consider, you know. You got to consider the fact that people, you know, in terms of numbers, that makes a huge, huge difference. So let's take some slave leaders. We'll take some Dothraki as well. Dothraki are really good, in my opinion. They're very good at staying alive at the very least, but not in sieges. Yeah, don't even talk to me about them in sieges. They are not very good in sieges, but everything else, pretty good. And I guess we'll just take a brigand or something like that. Alright, so let's do this once again to get our morale back up. And now, what? Lord Bronn has 67? No, surely he doesn't have 67 relation with us. He does? What's going on with him? What is actually going on with him? I have no idea what's going on with him. That's a bit weird. Okay. Well, we've lost something to Cohort, which I don't really mind. What did we lose? Oh, this. Ah, okay. Well, that's absolutely fine. No problem at all there. You can take that if you so desire, because I am completely monopolizing your home territory, Cohor. So, yes, it seems like the prince himself has now appeared. And they are going to attempt to take Norvos. That's fine. That's fine. I don't have any problems with that. They can do that if they want to. I'm being a bit calm about things because I don't really want to rush around needlessly and, you know, potentially make a mistake. So let's have a look. Where's the prince? Is he gone? Has he just run off? Seems like he might have just run off. Oh well. Okay. Well, if he wants to take Cohor, he can do that. I don't mind. Oh, what's this? Slain in one of your battles, requesting compensation. Sure, I'll pay the compensation. I don't mind. That's fine. I mean, everyone deserves, you know, kind of like fair pay, don't they? Oh well. Whatever the case, let's head on here and ooh, mushrooms. Okay, no one deserves these mushrooms. I'm gonna pass by. Usually mushrooms are not good for me, so I'm gonna say no. All right, so we are absolutely dominating right here with the amount of units we are able, well, the amount of fiefs we are able to take literally just from ransoms, which is pretty amazing in my opinion. I am actually going to think about making a new vassal relatively soon. I think Maya could probably become one pretty good. Yeah, I think she's probably going to be the best one for us going forward. I think that would be pretty nice. Now now this is the main issue here. That's the main issue why I wanted to actually fight the prince, but he was nowhere to be seen, so that was kind of a problem. We've lost Norvos as well, but as we've seen, it's very easy for me to take those back. Nothing to worry about there. All right, so where's the prince? I'm seeing Dothraki raiders run off here, but I don't see the prince himself. This is troublesome. Very troublesome indeed. But, there's some honey. Very nice. Give me some pork and chicken as well. Very good. Because we don't have any food at the moment, which is not very good, so that's fine. Alright, so, you know, I would like to... Yeah, let's go into the inn, actually, because then we can speak to the tavern keeper. And we will pay 15,000. Sure. I think that's a bit much, but I'm going to do that. Literally just because I don't want more of my troops to leave. And this is the... It seems like we've swapped, isn't it? Seems like we've swapped. Okay, so my morale is very low. That is not good. You know, I really wish I could find that prince wherever he is. Dothraki raiders. No, I can't find him. All right, we're gonna have to suffer these losses for the moment. Well, it seems like I will have to do a little bit of chasing for our morale to get a little bit higher up, but I have the king in my sights, and we're probably going to take him on, but in the next episode. I thank you very much for watching and for joining me, and I will see you next time.